Let's start right where the sky cracked open and the devil walked into my life wearing red-bottom heels. It was a Thursday, the kind that doesn't warn you it's about to gut your whole world with a smile. I was running late, 10 minutes, to be exact. Just 10 stupid, cursed minutes. The train had been delayed. Some idiot pulled the emergency lever again. I worked 80 hours that week, 12-hour shifts most days, sometimes 14, barely saw my own bed. But I still hustled because I loved what I did, and yeah, I loved my wife. Or thought I did. Her name's Madison. Madison Reed. Gorgeous, cold-blooded, and the youngest CEO in our firm's history. My wife. The face on Forbes, the lips on Business Insider, the one the whole company bowed down to. And me? I was just the head of development, commuting in from Queens like a chump while she pulled up in a white Mercedes with champagne seats. That morning, I walked into the office, tie loose, still adjusting my cuffs, when HR's Tracy gave me that look. The one where their smile doesn't touch their eyes. She said, "Hey, Ethan, can you come in here for a moment?" I followed her into the glass fishbowl of a conference room. Madison was already there, dressed like she was about to walk a runway, legs crossed like a queen. She didn't even look at me. There were two other VPs sitting beside her, all of them quiet. I stood there, blinking, still trying to piece together what this was. Then Tracy slid a paper across the table and cleared her throat. "Ethan, you're being terminated effective immediately." I blinked. For what? Madison finally looked at me then, those blue eyes as empty as a snowfield. "For being late," she said. Flat. Ice cold. "Late? Are you serious? 10 minutes late after working 80 hours this week? You know our policy," she said, like we weren't married, like she didn't kiss me goodbye that very morning. "Leadership must set the standard." I laughed. I actually laughed. "You were joking, right?" She didn't even blink. "No, Ethan, you're done." It was then, I swear, something snapped inside me, like glass shattering in my chest. And I said, "Actually, you might want to read that fine print again. Because I own the company now." That shut the whole damn room up. See, while Madison was too busy playing CEO Barbie, she forgot I owned 51% of the equity. Silent partner. Inherited from my father who co-founded the firm with hers. I never flexed it before. I didn't need to. I believed in her. I trusted her. I loved her. But now? I pulled the amended partnership agreement from my briefcase and slid it across the table like an ace in poker. "You don't fire me," I said. "You resign." Her lips curled, for the first time, like she'd tasted something bitter. But even then, she didn't flinch. "You wouldn't do that to me." "Oh? Why?" I asked, eyes locked on hers. "Does that change the betrayal?" She narrowed her eyes. "You don't know what you're talking about." But I did. Not just about the firing. That was just the first jab. The real knife came a day earlier. Flashback, Wednesday night. I came home late, same as always. Madison was already in bed, scrolling on her phone. Said she was tired, rolled over, and pretended to sleep. She'd been distant lately. Unreachable. Changed her passcode. Went out more. The perfume changed. I noticed. While she showered, her iPad lit up on the nightstand. A text preview popped up from a contact saved as Margot Pilates. But the message read, "Can't stop thinking about last night. You in that red lace? Damn. When are you telling your husband?" My heart stopped. My whole soul stopped. She came out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her, looking like nothing had changed. I smiled. Said goodnight. Pretended not to know. But in that moment, the woman I'd married 6 years ago died to me. Now, back in that conference room, she sat like a statue, still smug, still untouchable. But cracks were forming. Her eyes darted toward the papers. She realized something. She just pulled the trigger on the wrong man. I stood up. "You'll get the official notice tomorrow. As of now, I'm CEO. You can pack your office. Have a nice F***ing life, Madison." Then I walked out. Every step away from her was like shedding a layer of skin. But oh, it was only beginning. To be continued in part 2, the discovery. Let me know when you're ready for the next part. The rabbit hole goes deeper. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. My brain wouldn't shut off. I just sat there in the dark with my fists clenched and my jaw locked, replaying every moment of the past 6 years like a movie I never really paid attention to. I thought of her late-night meetings, of how she suddenly stopped wanting to be touched, said she was too tired or too stressed. Thought of the gym membership she never used, the business trips that didn't make sense, the way she started locking her phone like I was a stranger in my own home. I chalked it up to burnout. Stress from being at the top. Turns out, it was someone else doing the relieving. Around 3 a.m., I got up and walked to her office. She kept everything backed up on her iCloud. She thought she was slick. But Madison forgot I built the company's server system, knew her old passwords, and how she used the same one with a few tweaks every time. I hacked into her email. Then her texts. There it was. Everything. Messages to Ryan Collins, our damn head of marketing. Guy I thought was a friend. We used to drink after product launches. Watch games together. He came to our wedding. And there he was, talking about what they'd done on her desk, what she wore, how she tasted. She sent him photos. Not just any photos, private ones. One she took in my bed. In my shower. My world felt like it cracked in half. There was a message from a week ago. I hate how he looks at me like he knows me. He's so boring now. So soft. You make me feel like a real woman. A real woman. I guess I wasn't enough of a man for her anymore. I scrolled through months of this garbage. There was even a hotel booking under her name. A suite downtown. Business trip, she said. I remembered making her coffee that morning, ironing her blouse while she giggled on the phone and said, "Love you." She didn't mean it. She just liked how easy I made her life. The train rides, the errands, the meal preps. I was her house husband in a tailored suit, and she was getting off on some clown with a gym membership and a half-decent smile. Morning came. She strolled into the apartment like nothing happened, fresh from yoga, glowing, sipping on that green juice she always claimed tasted like crap but made her feel energized. I was sitting at the dining table. She didn't even look surprised. She said, "You're up early." I said, "I know." She froze. Know what? I didn't raise my voice. Didn't move. Just said it straight. "Ryan. The hotel. The photos. Everything." "I know." Her mask cracked. Just a bit. She set her juice down slowly, like it was suddenly heavier. Then she gave me a look I'll never forget. Not shame. Not guilt. Annoyance. Like I was the problem for knowing. She said, "You went through my stuff?" I actually laughed. "That's what you're worried about?" "No," she said, arms crossing, eyes rolling. "I'm worried that you're acting like a dramatic little boy instead of a man who saw this coming months ago." Boom. There it was. Her real face. No more sweet Madison. Just venom. "You're not surprised?" I asked. She shrugged. "You stopped being interesting, Ethan. You work. You sleep. You ask the same dumb questions every day. You want to know what I did at work? What I ate for lunch? You think I want to come home to that? You could have just left me." "Oh, please," she scoffed. "And give up half the company? Don't be naive." I was stunned silent. She leaned over the table and whispered, "You think love is enough, but the truth is, you're just small. Always were." I wanted to flip the table, to scream, to break something. But I didn't. I just stood up, looked her in the eye, and said, "Pack your **T. She blinked. "What? You're done. I'm CEO. You're fired. From the company. From this marriage. From everything." She stood there, mouth open like a fish. Probably the first time in years she'd been told no. She said, "You'll regret this." "No," I said. "I regretted trusting you. Everything after this is just correction." I walked out. Left her standing there in her fancy robe, with her pressed hair and fake innocence. Took the elevator down and sat in my car for 10 minutes, just breathing. She wasn't worth rage. Not anymore. I'd get everything in motion. Divorce. Asset freeze. Legal wipeout. I wasn't going to just cry and walk away like the weak man she thought I was. She betrayed the wrong guy. The day after I fired her, the office was a damn jungle. Word spread fast, Madison Reed removed as CEO by her husband Ethan, who now owns controlling shares of the company. Half the staff didn't know whether to shake my hand or avoid eye contact. The rest were whispering in corners like high schoolers. And Ryan? That coward didn't even show up. HR tried to act professional, but I saw the curiosity burning behind Tracy's polite nods. She asked if I wanted to issue a formal statement. I told her no. Let Madison stew in the silence. Let the rumors boil her alive. I was in my office, going through merger reports, when I got the first text. It was from Madison. "You're being petty. We can still fix this." Fix what? The betrayal? The disgust I felt every time I thought of her? I left it on read. 10 minutes later, she called. I didn't pick up. Then she sent a photo. A mirror pic. Lingerie. Red. The same one she wore in the photos with Ryan. The message read, "I know what you really miss." I gritted my teeth so hard I thought they'd crack. That was her angle now? Manipulation? Use her body to slide back into my life like she didn't just humiliate me? I sent back 3 words. You're pathetic, Madison. She didn't reply, but I knew it wouldn't be the end. Later that afternoon, I got a call from our CFO, Angela. She told me about a flagged transaction. Madison had wired 50 grand from a marketing slush fund to a private consulting firm with no listed employees. I knew what it was. A cover for her little getaway weekends with Ryan. Hotel bills. Dinners. Gifts. Angela said, "Want me to press charges?" I paused. Thought of Madison's face, how smug she always looked, how she assumed she could do whatever she wanted and everyone would just deal with it. Not yet, I said. Let her sweat. That evening, I went home to an apartment that smelled like her perfume but didn't feel like mine anymore. I opened the liquor cabinet, poured 2 fingers of scotch, and stared at the photo of us on the shelf. It was from our honeymoon in Tulum. She was laughing, drunk on margaritas and sun, holding my arm like I was her whole world. Maybe I was. Or maybe I was just a stepping stone, a free ride to the top until she met someone more exciting. I didn't sleep again. I stayed up reading every one of their messages, watching her send voice notes with that sugary tone she used to use on me. She even called Ryan baby bear. I almost threw my phone, but I didn't, because I needed to know how deep it went. I needed to see every lie, every word she'd poisoned. Around 3 a.m., she showed up at the door. I wasn't surprised. Madison never let herself loose. She looked like she'd stepped off a movie set, black heels, trench coat, eyes glazed like she'd been crying but still trying to stay composed. She held a bottle of wine in one hand, her other hand shaking just enough to show she was nervous. "Ethan," she said softly, "can we talk?" I didn't answer, just opened the door wider. She walked in like she owned the place, like she hadn't just blown up our life. She sat down on the couch, uncorked the wine, poured herself a glass. "This is ridiculous," she said. "We've both made mistakes." I laughed. "Oh, what mistake did I make?" "Trusting you." She rolled her eyes. "You don't get it. Ryan was a distraction. That's all. A stupid, meaningless thing. I was lonely, Ethan. You were never around. Always working, always distant." I sat down opposite her. "You are incredible. You cheat. You lie. You steal from the company. And now it's my fault. I didn't steal anything. You embezzled company funds to pay for your affair, Madison." That hit her. She went quiet, then looked me dead in the eyes. "I didn't think you'd actually fire me. Because you think nothing applies to you," I said. "You've lied so many times you believe yourself now." She sipped her wine, more irritated than apologetic. "You know what your problem is, Ethan? You never fought for me." I stood up. "No, I trusted you. That was my mistake. I fought for this marriage every damn day while you were busy undressing in hotel rooms with another man. You're being dramatic." "No, I'm being done." She stood too, now angry. "You think you'll find better than me? Good luck. Most women would kill for someone like you, but they'd still cheat because you're boring." That did it. I walked over to the door, opened it, and pointed outside. "Leave." She scoffed, grabbed her purse, and stormed out, muttering, "You'll come crawling back." I shut the door behind her. She had no idea. This wasn't heartbreak anymore. This was war. The next few days were all chess moves. I didn't grieve. I calculated. First thing I did was lock her out of the company systems. I had IT change all credentials. Her office was emptied, her access cards deactivated. I even had the cleaning crew box her crap and deliver it to her condo, carefully labeled former CEO. A little gift from me to her ego. Ryan tried to text me. I didn't even bother opening it. That man was a roach. The kind that thinks he's special because he crawled into your house and found crumbs. I had people start pulling every file he ever touched, his marketing plans, expense reports, meeting logs. My gut told me there was more than just adultery going on. Angela confirmed it 2 days later. Ryan's been inflating campaign numbers, billing us double on vendor kickbacks. There's at least 6 invoices that look suspicious. It wasn't just betrayal. It was theft. Corporate fraud. They thought they were clever, hiding in plain sight. But they left a trail. I called a meeting with legal. Quiet. Just a few of us. We drafted termination letters, froze Ryan's company accounts, and prepped the lawsuits. I wasn't going to let this die quietly. They wanted to play dirty. So be it. Meanwhile, Madison kept texting. "You're acting like a child. We built this together. You're hurting yourself, too. Why won't you talk to me?" She didn't know how to lose. That's what scared her. That's what really pissed her off. I was supposed to be the one begging her to come back. crying, pleading, watching her walk away while she giggled over drinks with her baby bear. Instead, I flipped the table. One night, I got a call. Blocked number. It was her. I didn't say anything, just let her speak. I'm pregnant. I didn't react. You hear me, she said. I'm pregnant, Ethan. Still, I said nothing. She laughed, bitterly. Well, that's it. That's your response. Is it mine? Pause. I don't know, she said. Soft. Calculated. There it was. That wasn't a confession. That was a grenade. You're a real piece of work, Madison. You used to love me. No. I loved the version of you that didn't exist. She started crying. I could hear her breath catch. You don't know what it's like to be me. I do now, I said. You're empty. And loud. And cruel. I hung up. I knew what that call was. It was a last-minute swing. A desperate punch in a fight she already lost. Even if it was true, and I doubted it, it didn't change a thing. Because I didn't trust her. Not a word out of her mouth felt real anymore. Every moment we'd ever shared was poisoned with hindsight. The following Monday, Ryan showed up to the office. Security called me. Said he was at the front desk, demanding to speak with me. I walked down myself. He looked like hell, eyes bloodshot, tie crooked, lips pressed into some awkward smirk like we were just old buddies meeting for coffee. Ethan, he said, reaching out to shake my hand. I didn't take it. You think you can just fire me without talking to me? He asked. I didn't answer. Just held up the stack of papers I brought. Invoice fraud. Bribery. And my personal favorite, using company funds to play hotel roulette with my wife. His face changed. He tried to recover. This is all a misunderstanding. Madison said. Don't say her name. You already stained it. Come on, man. I didn't mean for this to happen. Of course you didn't. But you still crawled into my bed when I wasn't home. He glanced at the guards. You're really going to do this here? I leaned in. You disrespected me in my house, in my company, and in my life. Now I'm returning the favor. I turned to security. Get him out. And let legal know he'll be served tomorrow morning. Ryan lost his cool then. Started yelling. You think this makes you a man? Huh? You think you're winning? I didn't answer. He didn't deserve one. They dragged him out. Back upstairs, my team was waiting. Angela had already drafted the press statement. Due to violations of ethical conduct, former CEO Madison Reed and former head of marketing Ryan Collins are no longer affiliated with the company. I approved it. Sent it. Watched the internet catch fire. That night, I sat on the balcony of my now empty apartment, watching the city breathe. I felt hollow, but not broken. Not anymore. 3 days after Ryan got escorted out, I got a call from Madison's lawyer. A woman named Shelley, something cold voice, sharp tone. Said Madison was filing a claim against me. Wrongful termination, emotional distress, defamation, breach of marital trust, even gender discrimination, because she was a successful woman punished by her insecure husband. I couldn't help but laugh when I hung up. This wasn't a divorce anymore. This was a circus. She wasn't looking for closure, she wanted blood. And a payout. I called my attorney, Eric, a guy I went to college with, the kind who ate sharks for breakfast. Sent him everything. Messages, photos, expense reports, the email where she literally called Ryan her real boss. He barely looked at the evidence before grinning. This won't go well for her. I'm counting on it, I said. But deep down, a part of me still couldn't believe she was capable of all this. I kept going back, not to the lies, but to the early days. To the Madison who used to text me just to say she missed me, who held my hand on flights even when she was asleep, who laughed at my dumb jokes like I was her entire world. I didn't know when that version died, or if she ever existed at all. A week later, she showed up at my apartment again. No warning. No text. Just rang the buzzer and waited. I didn't want to open the door. But I did. Curiosity is a wicked thing. She looked different. Pale. Sleepless. Like reality had finally started clawing its way into her skin. I want to talk, she said. Talk or manipulate? She flinched. Good. That meant she knew I wasn't playing anymore. I made a mistake, she whispered. 100 mistakes. Save it for court. No. Please. I'm not here for money. I'm not even here for the company. I waited. I'm here because I'm scared. I crossed my arms. Of what? She hesitated. The baby. I stayed silent. She put a hand on her stomach. It's real, Ethan. I had the test. I can show you. I don't know if it's yours, but... She looked me dead in the eyes. I hope it is. That stung. She wanted me to be the father, probably because I was stable, responsible, didn't disappear when things got hard. Because I had something to offer. Convenience, dressed as remorse. You hope, I said, my voice flat. You hope it's mine? Tears welled up in her eyes. Not the fake ones she used in meetings. These were real. Raw. Like she finally realized how far she'd fallen. But sympathy wasn't enough. Not anymore. I'll take a paternity test, I said. If it's mine, we'll talk. If not, you're on your own. She nodded slowly. Fair. I started to close the door. Ethan, she said, just before it shut. I looked at her one last time. Do you still love me? I should have lied. I should have ignored her. But I didn't. No, I said. I loved who you pretended to be. And I'll never forgive myself for falling for it. I closed the door. Locked it. Turned away. That night I sat alone again, but this time it felt clean. Like the air had cleared. No games. No masks. Just truth. Cold and sharp, but real. The paternity test would come in 2 weeks. Until then, I buried myself in work. Cleaned the house. Got back to the gym. Reconnected with friends I'd neglected because I was always trying to save the marriage. And slowly, the anger stopped buzzing in my blood. She wasn't my wife anymore. She was just a bad chapter in a book I was rewriting. Let me know when you're ready for part 6. The results are coming, and she's not ready. 2 weeks crawled by like wet cement. I didn't rush the lab, didn't text the doctor, didn't check the tracking updates. I just waited. In the meantime, Madison stayed silent. No texts. No surprise visits. No Instagram thirst traps designed to get my attention. That was new. I figured either her lawyer told her to lay low, or she finally started to understand that her leash had snapped. I wasn't sure which one made me feel better. The day the results came, I didn't open the envelope right away. I just stared at it. Thin white paper, thick with truth. One sentence in that thing could rewrite the rest of my life. I sat down, poured a drink, and sliced it open. It was mine. Not even a maybe. Probability of paternity, 99.9999%. I stared at the number for a long time. Tried to feel something. Joy? Terror? Bitterness? But all I felt was stillness. Like the sound after an explosion, when everything's too quiet and your ears ring and you're waiting for the dust to settle. I called my lawyer first. Told him we'd need to change strategy. This wasn't just about divorce anymore. It was about custody, responsibility, money, legacy. All the things that suddenly latch onto your back the moment a child gets involved. Then I called Madison. She picked up on the first ring. No, hello. No breathing. No hesitation. It's mine, I said. Silence. Then a soft, broken, okay. Don't get it twisted, I added. This changes nothing between us. You're still out. I'm not here for you. I'm here for the child. That's it. I understand. No, you don't. You don't get to manipulate this. You don't get to use the baby to weasel your way back in. I'll handle this like a man. You'll keep your distance unless it's about the kid. She didn't argue, didn't cry, didn't try to fight it. For the first time, maybe ever, she accepted something without spinning it into a lie. The next few weeks were a blur of paperwork, court meetings, financial audits, paternity documents, parental agreements. It all felt mechanical, clinical. I went from angry husband to future co-parent without much room to breathe in between. But then came the moment I knew I couldn't prepare for. The first ultrasound. She asked me if I wanted to come. I said no. But I showed up anyway. I waited in the back of the clinic, hood pulled low, hat on, sunglasses. Like someone sneaking into their own life. When I finally stepped into the room, she was already on the table, belly barely showing, gown folded up. The tech looked surprised but said nothing. Madison turned her head, eyes widening when she saw me. She didn't smile. She just nodded once. Like she knew this wasn't peace. It was a treaty with conditions. Then we heard it. The heartbeat. Fast. Alive. Real. It hit me in a place I didn't know still worked. And for a second, just a second, I saw something in Madison's eyes. Not love. Not regret. Something quieter. A flicker of the girl I once knew. Or thought I did. Afterward, we walked out together, not talking, just walking. She held the printout in her hands like it was made of glass. Before getting in her car, she turned to me. I don't expect forgiveness, she said. But I do want you to know. I'm scared too. I looked her over. The perfect outfit. The nails. The shoes. All the polish. But for the first time, she looked small. I'm not here to hurt you, Madison, I said. I just don't trust you. And I probably never will again. She nodded, then got in her car and drove off. I stood there a long time, hands in my pockets, staring at the sky like it had answers. It didn't, but at least it was honest. Weeks passed. She kept her distance, like I asked. We only spoke about the pregnancy, doctor visits, baby furniture, medical updates. She tried to stay polite. I stayed colder. Not to punish her, just to protect myself. That version of her I used to love? Dead. And I wasn't about to resurrect ghosts. But the past? The past doesn't die quietly. It claws. It waits. And then, it knocks. One night I was leaving the office, rain soaking the streets like some damn movie cliché, and who do I see standing near the exit? Ryan. Hair slicked, tie loosened, and that same greasy smug looked like he was about to sell me something I already owned. I walked right past him. Ethan, he called out, jogging behind. Wait, man. Just a minute. I turned. You got one. I didn't know she was married. You did. I didn't know she was your wife. You did. He held up his hands. Okay. Fine. I did. But I didn't know she was going to turn on me too. You know she tried to blame me for the embezzlement? I stared at him. He laughed nervously. She's toxic, man. I mean, you know that better than anyone. She'll burn everyone, even the ones helping her. And you're surprised? He stepped closer. I'm not here to fight. I just came to say, I'm sorry. I didn't believe him. Not for a second. Are you? I asked. He nodded. I was doing that fake watery thing. Yeah, you didn't deserve it. She played us both. You chose to play. She just happened to be better at the game. He looked away. I hope the kid isn't yours, he muttered. That stopped me. I stepped forward. Let me be very clear, Ryan. If you so much as breathe near that child, I'll bury you legally, financially, and socially. There won't be a company, a city, or a LinkedIn page left that doesn't know who you really are. His smirk evaporated. I walked away. That was the last time I saw him. The day the baby came, it was early. Madison was rushed into surgery, emergency C-section. I was already outside the hospital, having driven through the night from a work event. I don't know why. Some instinct. Some thread left uncut. I held my daughter 2 hours later. Yeah, a girl. She had her mother's chin, my eyes, and the quietest little grip I'd ever felt. Like she already knew the world was a mess and she'd need to hold on tight. Madison looked like hell. Pale. Weak. Human. I sat beside her. No words. She looked at me with something raw in her face. Can you forgive me? She asked. I didn't answer right away. I looked down at my daughter. At this tiny, innocent reminder of all the damage and all the beauty tangled together. No, I said, but I'll do right by her. I'll raise her to be better than both of us. Madison closed her eyes. A tear slipped out. I don't think it was for me. 6 months later, custody was finalized. She had joint rights, but I got primary care. She didn't fight it. She didn't have the strength anymore. The company? It thrived. We rebranded. New leadership. A new culture. The poison was gone. As for me, I finally bought a place upstate. Quiet. Space to think. Space for my daughter to grow up with green grass and clean skies. I still go into the city, but not often. I don't miss the noise. And Madison? I don't hate her. Not anymore. Hating her would mean I still cared. I just remember her. Like a scar. Like a story I once starred in but would never rewatch. People ask me now, what's the lesson? Simple. Don't confuse loyalty with love. Don't give your soul to someone who only wants your silence. And when someone shows you their true face, believe it the first time. I didn't get revenge. I got clarity. That's more permanent anyway.